20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going running all the way back.
All right, if you haven't seen, Ashton Daniels, the starting quarterback from Stanford who hit the portal, is currently trending towards Auburn. Had a bad statistical year last year, and a lot of the tape does not look the best. All right, I've broken down myself one game of his, and I believe it was the TCU game. This is not a guy being brought in to start, I don't believe. I am relatively confident this is a backup kid. They wanted an experienced backup guy. He's from Buford, Georgia. There's some stuff to like from what I've seen. He's got a lot of experience. Decision making, rough at times. Accuracy inconsistent. I think it has a lot to do with his mechanics. His mechanics aren't great. His footwork is not great. But he's an athletic kid who can make plays, and not a tier 1 athlete at quarterback. He's got a little bit of shiftiness. He's not the fastest straight line guy. He operates pretty well in the zone read game and the power read game, which is stuff that we utilize a lot of in the quarterback run game. And he can do some design quarterback stuff, has a little bit of power, and the arm talent is evident. It's clear. He has Power 5 arm talent, and I believe he has SEC arm talent. This is just a guy who you can bring in and can win you a game. Or if you got, a 4-game stretch where your starter goes out, he can come in and he can split it. Come in, get you 2 or 3 wins in that stretch, depending on the opponents. But I would not be excited at all if this was the only transfer we ended up getting, and I think we need to get a tier 1 level quarterback from this portal cycle, and I think that's what we're working to do right now. Now, I don't know exactly how much eligibility he has left. I believe he's listed as a junior, so I'm pretty sure this would be his last year. So, I'd say pretty confident backup kid. Now, we obviously, now we can look at the portal, the quarterbacks that are available. Obviously, John Mateer, if he were to enter, would be my favorite option. But of the guys that are currently either in the portal or have declared their intentions to enter the portal, Darian Mensah from Tulane is probably my favorite. I'm coming around on Jackson Arnold. Pause, but you know what I mean. I like Jackson Arnold. I don't know if I like him for this team because there is a lot there where he's going to have to improve on a lot of things mechanically and with his eyes and footwork-wise. Caden Salter's obviously an option due to him knowing Hugh Freeze's offense and Hugh having coached him for, I believe, multiple years at Liberty. And then I don't think Noah Fafita's in. I could be wrong about that. Miller Moss is another kid I like, but the athletic component there is not great. So if I had to pick right now of the guys available, it would be down to me between Salter and Mensah. The thing with Mensah is, and this is a thing that's been brought up by a lot of fans, is he's a redshirt freshman, and he'd be going into his redshirt sophomore year, and you have a lot of young kids in that room that want to play next year. Not this next year, the year after. So, bringing in Mensah, do you think he could be gone in 2 years to the pros, 1 or 2 years? I don't know if he's that level of player. To me, he's a high-level college quarterback. I don't know about his pro potential at this point. But he's a kid who had a really good year at Tulane last year and has a lot of translatable components of his game to the SEC. He's obviously a solid athlete, really good arm talent, and he sees the game really well at a young age, which is very impressive. Jackson Arnold, on the other hand, seeing his games against Ole Miss and LSU, watching it play by play, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, you could see the improvement, even with the struggles they had at receiver. He really improved his decision-making and was much more careful with the football as the year went on. Now, he still has some issues. I mean, he gets his hips are kind of laggy on his throwing motion, which, by the way, if you look at the elite passers in the NFL, it's always hips before release point. It's a very important part of his game that he's going to have to improve on. Having your hips lag, you sail some throws, and that's a problem. But he's a really good athlete, and his arm talent is probably the best of anybody in the portal right now. You look at Salter, decent decision maker in the RPO game, drop back game, it's a different story. Accuracy down the field is not the best with him. It was pretty solid in 23. 24 it tailed off, obviously. Receiver room took some hits. He honestly took a step back as a runner too, which is rare. He dealt with some injuries later in the year, but even in the beginning of the year, he wasn't running the football well. And then you look at Miller Moss, probably the second best arm talent in the portal at this point. But the issue with him is also decision making as a drop back passer, and he's not a really good athlete. So that's a problem. So you look at this current portal cycle, outside of Mensa, I don't know if I see a game changer, really. Obviously, if Arnold comes in and he hits his ceiling and he hits his stride next year, that's an obvious game changer. That's a 5-star talent that could end up being a first-round, second-round draft pick. He has the traits, but he hasn't hit that yet. And it's not just the fact that his receivers were hurt last year. His decisions also played a component, you know. He was not playing at an elite level. Yes, the offensive line struggled. He also ran into sacks. Yes, his receivers were hurt. Sometimes not the greatest decisions. Decisions definitely improved later we got into the year, being more conservative, things of that nature. But he definitely has to improve. But, you know, that's just my opinion on Ashton Daniels, and then my opinion on the current state of the portal. War Eagle.
Selena, go!
Oh.
Stop!